Now, my precious one, I am about to reveal what the silence was preparing. I'm about to show you that while you were waiting, I was winning victories on your behalf. I'm about to prove that your prayers were never powerless. They were catalysts. They were declarations into the atmosphere. There were keys unlocking doors that no man can shut. Lift your eyes. Wipe your tears. Straighten your shoulders. You have not been forgotten. You have not been ignored. You have not been dismissed. You are standing on the threshold of fulfillment. And the sound you cannot hear in the natural is about to be made manifest in your life. The enemy tried to convince you that the silence meant abandonment. He whispered that I was deaf to your cries. But he lied. I was nearer than your next breath. I was storing every tear in my bottle, weaving every whispered prayer into the tapestry of a greater plan. You thought nothing was happening. But everything was happening. The seeds you sowed in prayer are about to break through the soil. The promises you carried quietly are about to spring forth into reality. The strength you gain by holding on through the silent seasons will become the foundation you need for the new levels I am bringing you into. The silent prayers were not empty. They were seismic. You prayed for doors to open. Watch now as I swing wide gates you thought were permanently sealed. You prayed for healing. Watch now as restoration floods places long broken. You prayed for breakthrough. Watch now as walls you could never have scaled fall effortlessly before you. My dear child, heaven has been shaken by your prayers. Not because of their volume, but because of their authenticity, not because of their eloquence, but because of their trust, not because you knew what to say, but because you dared to speak at all when hope felt fragile. You are entering into a season of visible fulfillment birthed by invisible faithfulness. You are stepping into answered prayers not because you demanded them but because you believed for them even when belief felt costly. You will see the reward of the silent seasons. You will walk in the fruit of prayers whispered in brokenness but received in boldness. Hold on to hope, my precious one. The time of wondering is turning into a time of witnessing. The time of weeping is turning into a time of rejoicing. The time of waiting is transforming into a time of walking through promises fulfilled. I have not missed a single word. I have not overlooked a single moment. And now I'm pulling back the veil. I'm revealing what has been building in the silence. What you thought was lost has only been hidden, preserved, protected, perfected. For this very moment, your silent prayers have shaken heaven. And heaven is responding. My precious one, you have no idea how proud I am of you. Not because of accomplishments the world applauds. Not because of titles or achievements that fade with time, but because of the way you have clung to me. When it would have been easier to let go. Because of the way you have chosen to believe even when belief cost you everything. Because of the way you have whispered prayers in the dark. Trusting that I was near. Even when the silence roared louder than your hope. You have looked at yourself through the lens of your weakness. You have measured your worth by your ability to produce visible results. You have questioned your effectiveness because the breakthrough did not come as quickly as you imagined. But I have never once measured you by outcomes. I've always measured you by your heart. And your heart, my dear child, has been beautiful to me. When others saw only the surface, I saw your spirit standing strong. When you felt unseen, I celebrated every step you took in faith. When you felt unheard, I listened more closely to every sigh, every tear, every wordless groan that rose from the depths of your soul. I have been with you, in you, for you. Every moment, every breath, you are not invisible to me. You are not forgotten in the noise of the world. You are not overlooked in the crowd. I see you. I know you. I delight in you. You are my precious one, treasured beyond measure, loved beyond comprehension. Come closer, my dear child. Lean into the truth of who you are to me. You are not the sum of your unanswered questions. You are not the product of your waiting seasons. You are not the residue of your disappointments. You are the living testimony of what it means to hold on to hope when the world says hope is foolish. I know how hard it has been. I know how the waiting has stretched you thin. How the silence has tempted you to doubt. But even in your questions, even in your wrestling, you stayed near. Even when you didn't understand, you chose to believe. Even when you couldn't see, you chose to trust. That, my beloved, is the faith that moves mountains. That is the faith that shakes heaven. You thought your strength was in your ability to endure. But your real strength was in your ability to remain connected to me through it all. You thought your prayers were weak because they were whispered through tears. But your prayers were mighty because they rose from a heart that still dared to hope. I am not disappointed in your weariness. I am not angry at your questions. I am not distant because of your struggles. I draw closer in your weakness. I wrap my arms tighter around you when your hands grow too tired to lift. I whisper louder when the world grows noisy with doubt. My dear child, the silent seasons were not wasted seasons. They were seasons where roots went deeper than sight could measure. They were seasons where faith grew stronger than feeling could confirm. They were seasons where identity was forged, not by what you did, but by who you are in me. Come rest in my arms. Let me heal the places where disappointment bruised you. Let me restore the places where hope grew thin. Let me remind you that you are not behind, not failing, not forgotten. You are exactly where you need to be. Positioned perfectly for the unfolding of promises you carried in silence. You have survived more than you realize. You have conquered more than you can comprehend. And now you are not only surviving, you are preparing to thrive. My precious one, I am not asking you to be stronger. I am asking you to be closer. I am not calling you to try harder. I am calling you to trust deeper. I am not demanding more performance. I am inviting more presence, more resting, more receiving, more relying on the goodness that never runs out. I see the strength you forgot you had. I see the beauty forming in places you thought were ruined. I see the seeds of promise breaking the soil of waiting. I see the future I have prepared for you. One filled with hope. One bursting with new life. One saturated in my glory. Lift your head. Shake off the shame of delay. Release the fear of dreams deferred. Let go of the lies that say you are forgotten. You are seen. You are heard. You are deeply, profoundly loved. This is not just a season of answers. It is a season of awakening. A season where you realize that your prayers were never in vain. That your faith was never wasted. That your journey was never random. I have been with you every step. I've caught every tear. I have strengthened every weak moment. And now I am bringing you into the visible fulfillment of promises that have been building under the surface. Your silent prayers have not only reached my ears. They have shaken heaven itself. And heaven is responding. My dear child, I know the weight you have carried. I know the nights when you sat in silence. When your prayers felt like they dissolved into the ceiling above you. When your heart cried out louder than your voice ever could. I know the questions that circled your mind. Where are you, God? Why does it hurt so much? How long must I wait? These questions did not push me away. They pulled me closer. Not because you needed to find your way to me, but because I was already there, sitting in the silence with you, feeling every pulse of your aching heart. The pain you have walked through was not a punishment. It was a preparation. It was not a sign of my absence, but a sign of my deep involvement. Working in ways unseen, planting seeds you could not yet recognize. Watering dreams you thought had withered away. In every moment of seeming inactivity, I was crafting something greater than immediate relief. I was forming endurance, character, depth of spirit that could not be formed any other way. Pain refines us in ways comfort never can. Pain exposes where your roots truly are. When the applause fades, when the crowds disperse, when the doors close and the noise dies down, what remains is what truly matters. And what remained in you was faith. Faith bruised but not broken. Faith weary but not surrendered. Faith small like a mustard seed but alive enough to move mountains in the unseen realm. You see, my precious one, pain is never the end of the story when it is placed in my hands. It becomes the soil for resurrection. It becomes the canvas for miracles. It becomes the backdrop against which my glory shines brightest. I have never wasted a single moment of your suffering. Every cry, every ache, every silent plea has been a building block for the strength I am now revealing in you. There were seasons you thought you were buried under the weight of unanswered prayers. But I tell you now, you were not buried. You were planted. Hidden, yes, pressed, yes, seemingly forgotten. Yes. But all the while, something stronger was growing underground. Your spirit was expanding. Your capacity to trust was increasing. Your ability to carry the weight of future glory was being fortified. You prayed for breakthrough and I answered with breaking. You prayed for growth and I answered with pruning. You prayed for more and I answered with a refining fire. Not because I love to see you in pain. Quite the opposite. But because I love you too much to let you settle for a shallow life. When I created you for rivers that run deep, I saw the moments when you almost let go, when you almost surrendered to despair. I heard the arguments you made with yourself in the quiet. Maybe I'm not meant for more. Maybe the promises were for someone else. Maybe it's better not to hope at all. And yet, even in those moments, a tiny thread of faith remained. And that thread, my child, was enough. It was more powerful than you knew. It anchored you to my heart when nothing else could. You may not have realized it, but in the silence, you are being trained for battles that would have crushed a lesser spirit. You are being prepared for victories that cannot be taken from you. You are being built into a lighthouse that others will one day run to when their own storms rage. The pain was not shaping you into a victim. It was forging you into a beacon. Every tear you shed in secret was watering a harvest you have yet to fully see. Every moment you chose to worship when you had no visible reason to was sending shock waves into the spiritual realm. Every small act of obedience, when obedience felt costly, was laying foundations for future doors to swing wide. Your silent prayers were not background noise in heaven. They were battle cries that summoned angels into motion. You have carried weights you thought would break you, only to find they built strength you didn't know was possible. You have endured seasons that felt endless, only to find they equipped you for endurance the world rarely sees. You have trusted me in the dark, and now you will see me move in the light. The pain taught you how to lean into my promises when everything else felt unstable. It taught you how to hear my whisper when the roar of fear was deafening. It taught you that even when answers are delayed, my presence never is. That even when deliverance seems slow, love never stops flowing. I know you didn't see it then, but every ache was an invitation. Every unanswered prayer was a door to deeper trust. Every delay was a hidden mercy, preparing you for a destiny you could not have carried prematurely. You are standing now on ground that was watered with your own tears. Strengthened by your silent prayers, solidified by battles fought in secret. And I tell you today, it has not been for nothing. Not a single moment of your pain was meaningless. It has been woven into a tapestry more glorious than you can yet comprehend. You will look back one day, my child, and you will not just see the pain. You will see the power. You will not just see the tears. You will see the triumph. You will not just see the waiting. You will see the wisdom born in the hidden seasons. And you will testify that even in the silence, heaven was shaking. Even in the darkness, light was breaking forth. Even when you thought you were forgotten, you were being formed for something far greater. Hold on to hope. The pain you endured is about to give way to the promises I am fulfilling. And when it happens, you will know. The silence was never the end. It was the sacred ground where miracles began. My dear child, the silence was never meant to last forever. It was not the final word over your life, but the preparation ground for the unveiling that is now at hand. The prayers you whispered into what felt like empty air have not only reached my heart. They have been working beneath the surface. Moving mountains you could not see, aligning pieces you did not even know were missing. And now the first fruits are beginning to push through the soil. Pay attention, my precious one. Watch carefully, not with anxiety, but with expectation. The signs of change